Welcome back to another episode of the Two Alphas Talk. This time we're going to talk to you about a subject that's really been in the news and media a lot, is how to interact with a police officer when getting pulled over. There's certain things you should do and there's certain things you shouldn't do. So one of the perspectives is when you get pulled over by the police, stop being nervous if it's just a traffic stop. And it's nothing to really worry about. Keep your hands at 10 and 2 on the steering wheel. If you're armed, in our state only, state of Georgia, we do not have to tell the police officer we have a firearm in the car unless it's sitting out exposed. Then we need to go ahead and let him know we have a firearm. Or if we're being asked to get out of the car and we got a firearm on us, let them know you have a weapon on you.
But it's not mandatory.
It's not mandatory. So just remember, it's nothing to be nervous about. If the police comes up, asks you what do you want, what did he stop you for, they're gonna tell you. Don't sit up there and be lipped about it. I mean, just be cool, calm. Don't give up any information that's unnecessary. Don't start flabbing where I just came from my mother's house and all this other stuff. Just say, listen to what the officer wants. If they want your driver's license, give it to them. They want you to step out the car, step out the car, and just comply. And everything will go real smooth, and you won't have really any issues. There's nothing to be nervous about. They're not gonna kill you, not unless you escalate.
I think what happens is recently is a lot of sensationalization by the media that make people fearful, and there have been incidents where people complied and things didn't go right. But it's the way that you have to research that and investigate it a little bit further to find out all the details and nuance that actually occurred during those stops. So it wasn't as simple as somebody was trying to give a permit or trying to show a license or something like that. It was more to it than just that. What we do have to understand is the officer is in charge of that traffic stop. You as a citizen in the United States have given up your right at the time when you get pulled over, your privilege to drive in America. So that's what we're working on now. There's a bunch of people out there that can go find some statues and prove otherwise, and that's cool, do that. But overall, the officer is responsible. And not only is the officer responsible, but he has the right to ask the driver to get out of the car legally. Supreme Court, go look it all up. And you have to get out the car. You have to, the driver at least has to get out of the car. And there's a lot of gray area in reference to other occupants of the vehicle. Some states say yes, some states say no, but overall, the Supreme Court has ruled the officer is in charge of that stop. Not only is he in charge, he's in charge to make sure that you're safe during that time. That's why the red and blue lights go on in the back. That's why they park the car halfway in the driver's lane to protect themselves, as well as the driver that has made an offense of some type of traffic stop.
Absolutely. And speaking from the younger generation side and the mentality, I feel like the media has overhyped a lot of it. And I've been stopped myself plenty of times in my state of Georgia. I haven't had any issues, and I would attribute that more or less to I don't get all nervous and start talking too much and say all the extra stuff and all of this. I just try to figure out what is it that I need to show them. Driver's license, insurance information, get that out, and then I just wait till they come to the car. Once they come to the car and they ask to see it, I give it to them. No more, no less. Mm-hmm. If there's ever anything extra, which I haven't ever been in that situation where they said, get out of the car, but if that was the case, I wouldn't have any issue with it, especially if I'm not doing anything wrong. And go through it. Yes sir, no ma'am. Yes ma'am, no sir.
You have to relinquish some part of it and understand, and whatever information is required of you, you have to give that. If they ask you to get out the car because they suspect that you're drink driving or whatever it is, get out the car. Yeah. The worst that can happen is that you get arrested. The worst that can happen is you get a ticket. You pay it. That's what they're for. In most cases, if you did something that is a gross violation, you're more than likely going to get a ticket. But you should know that prior to getting in the car. People always say, I know my rights, but you really don't. You really don't. You have to understand that as a police officer, the officer has the right to get you out of the car on any traffic stop.
And a lot of people are going to be saying, well, you guys don't know. No, I've been pulled over with a lot of guns in the car. I've been taken out the car. I've been thrown up against the car, searched because I did something wrong.
Hey, and that's where it comes from.
But I didn't go to jail. because I didn't act out. You know what I'm saying? And I could have went to jail, but I didn't. I ain't telling you guys that story. And but
The bottom line is stuff happens.
it happens.
Mm-hmm.
So don't escalate it when there's no need to escalate it. When you're driving, the lights come on, pull over. If you're a woman by yourself, pull over. I know you're trying to find a safe spot. You can't find one, pull over. Don't escalate it because it turns into a felony stop at that point.
Right. And everybody, just the same as what you just said, Al, the same thing happens. If you're nervous, imagine a human being that's called
He
a
just
police
got-
officer is just as nervous.
Right.
So one of the things is wait until they tell you what to do.
Right.
Sometimes you walk up to the car, you look and see the person, you talk to them and say, hey, did you see that? Oh, I didn't see it. You know what? Next time, slow down. And you don't need
Right.
any driver's license or anything else. But if you're sitting in the car and all of a sudden you're scrambling around trying to get everything ready before the officer because you're going to get the hell out of here, he sees you moving around or she sees you moving around and now it's all of a sudden like, what the hell's
Yeah,
going on?
don't be moving around.
Right.
Don't take your seatbelt off.
No.
Don't do anything except put your hands in the 10 and 2.
Mhm.
And if you're armed, keep them like this. That's a national symbol to them to let them know that you are armed.
Right.
And they will ask. Most officers will.
Most
Veteran officers will.
Right. And so a lot of
Yeah.
times the officer's not as astute as you may perceive them to be.
Right.
So maintain. And
Yeah.
again, know the laws in your state. Do
And
I
if-
have to tell them or not?
And if your wallet's in your hip pocket, ask permission. Can you go to your right hip pocket with your right hand?
Right.
And go back to him. They will acknowledge. Go ahead, proceed. You know, don't just do it. Let them know what you're going to do before you do those actions.
Exactly.
Okay?
I put the driver's license and the insurance information in the center console. So
Okay.
it's easy to get.
All right. We'll see you on the range. If it's off of YouTube, Instagram, we're on Rumble, and Parler, 2 Alphas Talk. Look for a new platform called Frank.
Out of here.